This episode of Walt Disney World Today is sponsored by MEI and Mousefan Travel, specializing in cruises and packages to Disney and other vacation destinations around the world. For their current offers, just visit their website at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, May 16th, 2007, and this is episode 257 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm your host, Matt Hochberg from MGMstudios.org, and my voice is cracking. Mr. Simpson.
It's time to change when it's time to change.
On the show today is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
Hiya, buddies.
And also on the show today is Len Testic, co-author of the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
How's it going, Matt? Muppets.
Outstanding. Muppets. And on the show today also, we have Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mike. That would be Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, that was see. Didn't even have to utter a word. You knew it that impressive.
Muppets of
It's
Caribbean.
it's the jail scene where they're trying to get the dog.
Yeah, right.
It's Wednesday. We're answering your listener questions, and we'll start with John from Maine, who writes, you know what would make a fun resort? How about a Muppets-themed one? It would be called the Muppets Happiness Hotel, named after the hotel the Muppets stayed at in the Great Muppet Caper. The concept is that Kermit, Piggy, Fozzie, and Gonzo, who each would have their own theme building, are running the place, and, well, you can probably imagine how crazy the place would look. Couldn't you picture a crazy Muppet touches all over the park, like a Swedish chef food court, animatronic Muppet rat bellhop scurrying around the lobby, Animal and the band jamming by the pool, New Zealand attempting to sell his boomerang fish in the gift shop? The ideas are endless.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea. I can't believe we didn't think about it.
It's awesome.
Next email is from Dave Lescalite of Hagerstown, Maryland. He goes, okay, MGM Master, can you supply an answer to this?
Oh.
I have a picture that I took at MGM, or Disney Studios, in 1997, March to be exact. This was taken at the exit to Tower of Terror. Since this was my first time riding the Tower of Terror, I didn't think much of it, but I've yet to see this furry little black cat since. Yes, it's real, not a Photoshop. Also, it wasn't stuffed. I remember trying to pet it as it stop a wall, and he moved around and was actually not scared of the crowd below. So, what's the question, right? Well, I've never seen any mention of this cat, nor have I ever seen him again. Sniff, sniff. I felt like it was the ultimate detail in Disney's planning, but I'm pretty sure it was a fluke. What's your take? Ever seen, ever heard of him before? And if your answer this on the show, it'll be timed right for Halloween, being that you're months all behind and all. Just kidding. I love the show and look forward to each and every fun-filled episode. Well,
Nice.
I do have an answer to the question. At first, I thought it was just a stray cat. Some of the, sometimes a stray gets in. There's a picture of it. I'll post a link in the show notes to it. And guys, really, what it is there's the wall as you're walking in to Tower, and there's a black cat sitting atop the wall. Okay. And what actually happened was, let me pull up there's a story. What happened was the cat actually lived at the hotel in one of the planters. It was a stray cat that just decided to make its home over there, and they actually named him Twilight. And, for whatever reason, they got rid of the cat at some point because it's not, they don't want to put a live animal around the park because, obviously it's a problem if it bites someone or something like that. But it used to be over there.
Probably non-union.
Non-union.
A catastrophe.
That's what.
Catastrophe.
Next email is from Sharon from Mechanicsville, Virginia.
Felonious assault.
Are you feeling it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
Sharon writes, love the show. My fiance and I are planning a Disney trip for May of 2007 for 10 days, plus 2 extra travel days. We'll be taking the train from Richmond, Virginia, and I'd like to know which station is closest, safest, most convenient to Disney. Also, what is the best way to get to our hotel? Links, cab, shuttle? Considering price, availability, at station, reliability, ease of luggage transportation. We are more than likely going to be staying We're going to be staying on site at Scopa Towers and do not wish to rent a car, even if it's faster. We drive every day and look forward to not doing so when we're on vacation, whenever possible. So does anyone know where the train station is? I guess it's in Orlando, right?
That's in Stanford, isn't it?
Stanford, yeah.
Stanford.
That's where the auto train drops you off. Well, obviously the most convenient.
No, there's one in Orlando. There's one on Sly Boulevard.
Okay, but I would think that regardless of where it is, a cab's got to be the easiest and most convenient option because obviously they're picking you up. They're take your luggage and they'll drive you directly to your place. Whereas Lynx, is kind of.
Does Lynx even go to the resorts? I thought they only went to like the TTA.
A TTC.
Yeah.
TTA.
TTA.
They drop you off over there.
That's a pretty good bus service.
Now boarding.
Hey, Lynx is a cat, right? Oh, sorry.
Oh, geez.
Lord.
I would say take a cab. Got to be the best option, Sharon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the other option is, the other option is what, having someone pick you up. It's got to be, I'm guessing it's got to be 15 or 16 miles from the train station in downtown Orlando to Walt Disney World.
We should mention one of our sponsors for the live show.
Yeah, do
Quicksilver Transportation. If you mention the code SCOPA, they'll knock I think a couple dollars off of $5-10 off the price.
It's not that much farther from the train station to Disney as it is from OIA, from Orlando International. I mean, it's like marginally farther, maybe 2 miles, 3 miles. I bet you they give you the same rate.
Yeah, so just give Gregory a call and let him know that you heard about it on the podcast. He'll hook you up.
And I'm not saying that because they're a sponsor. I mean, just go into Google Maps and type in Orlando Amtrak Station.
Yeah.
And take a look at the map, and they're pretty much equidistant.
Next email's from Mike from New Jersey, who writes, I've been looking for software conferences in the Orlando area so I can mix work and a visit to Walt Disney World on the same trip. I'm a manager of desktop software applications, so mostly interested in C++, Visual Studio, or the like type of conference. Know of any? On episode 210, Frank Cohen mentioned that he knew of a few or had been asked to a few. What are they, and what ones does he know about?
I think didn't Microsoft just do a Visual Studio Live in Orlando? That would have been perfect. When did this person write in?
Of course, we answer all our questions, in a timely fashion. I mean, I figured, Len, you would probably know about the software conferences or conferences in general that are occurring in the Disney. Are you familiar with any that generally occur on an annual basis?
Yeah, Visual Studio Live actually was in Orlando this year. Hold on 1 second.
Also, you can say, Len, isn't there on the Orlando Tourist Bureau website or something like that they list all the conferences?
Okay, actually, the Orlando Visitor and Convention Bureau will do it. Actually, it was May 6th to the 10th, and it looks like it's in Orlando every year.
That was last week.
Yeah, last week. But there's usually a Visual Studio Live if you're into Microsoft stuff.
No Mensa conferences, Len?
It's only last year was, but it won't be back again. So yeah, I mean, what I would do is check out software. Do Google software conference Orlando and see what pops up. But definitely Visual Studio Live is once a year in May.
Next email is from Bridget Swart, who writes, Hey there, guys. This is Bridget from Unionville, Virginia again. I have another quick question. I'm spending 2 days at Epcot, 1 day with my children, and the second day without. I was wondering if it's possible to get a Fast Pass for Mission Space on the first day and then go back and use the Fast Pass on the second day. I know it's probably frowned upon, but I want to know if I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it. Mission Space wouldn't be a problem. Soarin', you can't.
Till the barcoding comes, you can do it, yeah.
Well, we'll assume that they're going sometime soon. In which case, then
My guess would be they'd be able to pull that off in the morning.
Of course, Bridget, always play dumb if they confront you about it. Oh, I didn't know. Sorry.
Matt Hochberg said I could do it. What?
Yeah, right. Next email is from Kelly Petty of Carrollton, Texas, who writes, Hey guys, I keep hearing little things about here and there about the Adventurers Club at Pleasure Island. It seems like there's some sort of show that goes on all around you, but I can't quite get any information on show times and what exactly goes on. Could you shed some light on it? I'm going in June, was wondering if it's something I would like to see. Thanks in advance. Scopy, you're there. Newell, you were there, right?
I've been there a couple of times. Yeah, there's a radio show. That's a formal show that's in a room with sort of an audience, and you're sitting at tables or whatever, and that's a formal thing. But there's always informal, almost like streetmosphere kind of stuff going on in there.
That's the best way of describing it.
Right.
Well, when they set up the Adventures Club, little trivia for you. When they were hiring the Streetmosphere characters for the studios, they were also at the same time hiring the characters for Adventurers Club as well.
Cool.
The Streetmosphere, the Streetmosphere, the Adventurers Club, Streetmosphere people are they are the top tier for as far as Streetmosphere. And Len, when we were at the stunt show opening for that media event, those were the Streetmosphere people who were in MGM Studios, from what I've heard.
Really?
Yeah, remember the people who were like right outside the ABC Theater, and then there were those crazy doctors and everything. They were from the Adventurers Club. I recognize a few of them.
Next email is from Robert, who writes, on your show you asked about my question about not turning in a voucher for redemption. The idea behind this was to get a cheap annual pass voucher and use it for a perpetual string of discounts until such a time as the annual pass price was very high when this voucher would be redeemed. The idea was to be able to get discounts even though I was not able to come back to the parks for more than one trip per year. Our annual pass is good for exactly 1 year, or is there any play by about a week or so?
No, it's exactly a year.
Yeah. It's exactly a year.
He's talking about his voucher, or is he talking about his annual pass?
Was referring to an older question, which I can't say I recall at this point. But I guess, well, obviously, if it's an annual pass, it's good for 1 year, and that's it. I mean, when you hit your date, you hit your date. If it's a voucher, if you buy a voucher today, the voucher's good forever, right?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is it good for forever, or is it good for... I guess it is, because you're paying a lot of money.
I would think so. It's good until it's redeemed, rather. We should mention that.
Right.
Next email is from Darcy, who writes, "Love your show. We love being able to get the cheddar cheese soup from the kiosk in Canada during the Food and Wine Festival. Have they ever thought about keeping that open during the winter months? It would be great to be able to get the soup for a quick meal at any time or when the restaurant is booked up." Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice, but that's what makes the event special. Then you come back for the event.
That's right.
That'd be good, though, to go, like a cup of soup to go.
We'll have to think about that in October.
Next email is from Danny Boggu, I think.
Danny.
Okay, guys, sorry, forgive me. I've been listening to Walt Disney World today for a year, and I guess I haven't realized that someone on the show is from Raleigh or a surrounding area. I'm from New York, but I live in Raleigh now. I just thought it was interesting. Thanks. By the way, I love the show. Listen to every episode the second it downloads. Great job, guys.
That'd be me, Len. I'm from Greensboro.
And where's Annette, who's sometimes on the show? Where's she from?
Annette, she lives in Raleigh.
Raleigh? Okay.
Or Durham, whatever. It's all the same.
Raleigh, Durham.
Yeah.
Next email is from Jason from Las Vegas, Nevada, who writes, "We're going to Walt Disney World in or around May of 2008," and he actually wrote 2008. I'm not making this up. This is I'm currently looking at various hotel options at the resort and had a question. What are travel times like from each of the resorts? For example, we're looking at Coronado Springs. I suppose it's supposed to be on its own bus line. What are the trip times like to various parks, and is there ways around this? Like, can I take the bus to MGM and then ride the monorail to the Magic Kingdom?
Yeah, it's almost never faster if you're going directly to a park. I mean, if you're starting off at Coronado Springs and okay, first of all, it's always faster to drive your own car everywhere except the Magic Kingdom, right? We've said that on enough other shows. But if you're going to the Magic Kingdom using Disney transportation, expect it to take somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes, and that's literally from the time you leave your hotel door. Walking towards the bus stop until the time you set foot in the Magic Kingdom. To Epcot, it's like 25 to 35, ballpark. Roughly the same thing to the studios, and to the Animal Kingdom, it's roughly 30 to 40, give or take. Again, always faster. Take your own car.
From Coronado Springs to MGM Studios, you're saying 30 minutes?
Wait, don't forget that's from the time you leave your hotel door, waiting for the bus to come up.
Oh, you're talking bus. I'm sorry. You're talking bus.
That's right.
I was thinking car. I was thinking, whoa.
We should, Len, you failed to plug your book. I can't believe it, but don't you have a little...
you got a book, Len?
Isn't there a little table in the book that tells you commute
Why,
times?
thank you, Matt, for mentioning it. The unofficial guide to Walt Disney World 2007
Yep. Ding.
That's it?
has such a chart on page 358, 359, showing you where you want to try transportation times. It's also on the website, too, by the way. touringplans.com.
Next email is from Matt from Long Island, who writes,
Just make me.
Dear Matt, Mikes, and Len, love the show. You guys are without a doubt the most entertaining and informative podcast on Disney World out there. I come from Long Island and try to visit Disney World about once a year. I will be staying at the Polynesian Resort for the first time. My wife and I will be staying in a basic garden view room. My question is, are all the rooms at the Polynesian newly updated with the fancy TVs, etc., or were just the high-end concierge rooms updated?
Good question. I think that they were all updated because when I was there I happened to be walking around the Polynesian when I was there for the half marathon, and I peeked in a few rooms, and it looked like they were all new. Not just the Hawaii building, but all of them looked like they had been renovated.
they've all been renovated now too.
Pretty cool looking too. You know, different. I mean, it really looked nice.
Yeah, Captain Cook's looks pretty good. It gets crowded in the morning too.
It's much bigger in there.
But it's bigger than it was, yeah. So not bad. Yeah, all the rooms should have been changed. And in particular, I think we've talked about this on an earlier show, but the bathrooms really are well designed now.
Yes.
So especially over at the Contemporary too. The new. I expect them to do the same thing, by the way, at Grand Floridian when they get around to that too. Oh, and also I hear one more thing about deluxe resorts. So we've chatted Disney for these many years about having the same 180 thread count sheets at the deluxe resorts as they have at the value and moderates. Well, apparently they're going to change those over to 250 to 325 thread count sheets sometime later on this year. Wamsuda, I hear, is the brand that they're going to put in. So good news for all of us with sensitive skin.
Okay, you're counting the sheet thread. You're counting the threads. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Anyway, go ahead.
Next email is from Jenny McLean, who writes, okay, I'm listening to Greg and Mike argue about what Disney's taking away and now charging us for on MiceCast, and I finished all the Walt Disney World Today podcasts, new and old. My question, even though you won't get to it for at least a year, is are there any statistics that you guys know of that says what percentage of Disney guests are one-timers or once every 10 years versus how many are return or continuous guests? I'm thinking as a returner, as a guest that probably visits at least once a year. I have always thought that depending on the statistic, they would run their business differently. The more one-time visitors, the less they need to give away, and the higher prices they can charge due to a one-time option. For those of us that return over and over again, prices become more of an issue, and we tend to notice what's been taken or charged or increased. Just something I've always thought about and thought you might know.
That's a great question.
Yeah, the first thing you have to do, though, is you have to separate the in-state from the out-of-state guests. Because obviously the in-state guests are going to be the repeat. If you're like 20 minutes away, if you live in Kissimmee or whatever, you can drive there several times a year. So you have to really look at what of the out-of-state visitors, how many of them are returning guests. And by returning guests, his definition is at least once a year, right?
I guess so, yeah.
I'm going to take a guess and say 35 to 40% of the total number of guests every year come back at least once a year. My guess. That's just a guess.
Len, what do you think?
Repeat half.
There is no published statistic. We don't really know of anything, right?
We're just taking a guess.
Yeah, I mean Disney. I'm sure they have something along those lines, but
what percentage do you think would be first-time guests? If they have X number of guests every year, what percent do you think would be first-timers?
At least
That's
a
tough.
third.
You think a third? I was going to say 15 to 20%.
I think it's got to be at least a third. Most people that go there are, novices, really. I think it's, and I would guess, anyone who hasn't been there in at least 5 years, you got to count them as a first-timer anyway. Because, they're the people that have been there, I was there when I was a kid. Like the Newells of the world. That Newell's for
nice. No, I mean, you've been once you've been.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been once you've been. There's no
Well, there is a database that has this information, because how many times have we called within the last 2 years and they ask you on the phone if you have visited Walt Disney World?
Yeah, there might be a database, but no one's keeping track of it.
No one has access to it yet.
Those options don't do anything. They're just to give the operators more time.
Hopefully you'll hang up.
Next email is from Jason from Chicago, who writes, what's up, M to the third and Len Dizzle? 2 questions that go together. I'm planning to propose to my girlfriend on our August 2007 trip. Oh, that is so overdone. Who proposes to their girlfriends at Disney?
Oh my God, especially over by Lights Motor Action.
Some bench.
You think of
some stupid
picture
angel light, 10 minutes before he's supposed to.
Cinderella Castle felt a bit. That wasn't my fault. That was a problem. They took away the damn bench.
It's always someone else will visit it.
Anyway, Cinderella Castle felt a bit cliche to me, so I was leaning towards Illuminations Cruise.
Won't be there next time.
I didn't hear that, but I'll have to listen to it. And I'll send you thank you even if I don't listen to that one in the show.
still time, Marissa. Oh. Come on, Matt. Read the email.
So, I was leaning towards Eliminations Cruise for the big question. It's a little less expected, and there's less slack-jawed yokels staring at us. Have any of you taken this or the Wishes Cruise? What are your thoughts?
I don't think it's worth the money, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, dude, unless
I
you're,
agree.
George Clooney-esque, it's going to be difficult to compete with Eliminations.
Yeah, you're still going to be
might be
with
fun.
it.
I mean, you could do it like at you'd have to get Disney to somehow do it, but like as you're walking through a pavilion, like imagine at the end of the Liberty Voices of Liberty at the American Adventure, you could just like run in the middle of the rotunda and ask for your girlfriend's hand in marriage there. We could do it in France right before the show or right after the show.
Didn't they have
The other
music
place I
in-
like is in Italy. There's the I think it's the King Neptune fountain in the back over there. Great place. Have her sit down over there. Like, oh, it is a very nice area to actually just go over there, and you can sit on the thing. And what you could do, a great idea would be, let's take a picture in front of the fountain, which obviously would throw her off. And you have some random person coming by if you're just the two of you. And then after take the picture, thank you. And then you get down on one knee and propose right over there. That'd be a good idea.
Here's the thing: the running water might make her want to go to the bathroom, and then so you'd have to interrupt your little magical moment there.
Was this something you had to account for, Len, when you had
So, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just getting older. Just thinking,
I have a suggestion.
hold that thought.
You're in the Magic Kingdom, and it's during the day, and you're walking up Main Street, and you happen to see the Dapper Dans. I'd pull one aside and say, "Hey, I'd like to propose to my girlfriend right now. Is there any song that you guys could sing while I do this?"
My friend George Washington and I would like to.
Just don't do it at Narcoossee's.
And
Jason also writes, this next part might be a bit confusing. I was told by Disney that if I didn't call at 6 a.m. exactly 90 days from the night that I plan to take the cruise, I run the risk of not getting it. My problem is that I was planning on the cruise for our last night there, but if for some reason I call at 6:01 and they don't get the reservation, I'm out of luck. So, do you think it's a reasonable idea to call a day or two before the 90-day mark to book it on an earlier night in our vacation, and then call the day I truly want and cancel the previous reservation? That way I would have a backup if I didn't get my preferred day. Thanks in advance for hopefully answering my question before we leave.
This is the Illuminations cruise, man?
Yeah, the elimination. Yeah.
I mean, it's only one of the most momentous decisions you'll ever make in your life. It might be worthwhile to have a backup plan. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's. I'm not a big fan of the Illuminations cruise.
Neither am I. I mean, I don't think the cruise is a great way to go. You could do. You could get on one of those. Go to the marina and rent one of those little 2-person boats. And bring her out in the middle of Bay Lake.
Here you go, honey.
Say, marry me and I start swimming.
Much better in my head than it did when I said it. So wait, never mind. Scratch that.
Marry me, I start swimming.
Never mind.
Helping.
I don't know what the hell I'm thinking.
Newell, do we have time for another question?
Sure.
Next email is from Steve from Leesburg, Georgia. Hello, Matt. I have a question for the Walt Disney World Today gang. Please explain how the water park tickets work. For example, can I purchase them separate from other packages? My family is going to Walt Disney World Labor Day weekend 2007, or insert any year needed here. And we already have no expiration tickets for the parks. I was wondering if we can do a water park. What is the best way to get tickets? Can I get them ahead of time, or do I need to purchase the morning of our visit? Any comments or suggestions will be welcomed.
You could buy them in advance. The thing is, if you're only going to visit one water park one time, it's cheaper to buy that admission separately than like the water park fun and more or whatever the heck they're calling the package on the Magic Your Way. These days, it's one is sort of the for one trip, it's cheaper to buy the individual admission. If you got 2 or more, then I think it makes sense. We have the here goes the plug, the unofficial guides. The least expensive ticket calculator will actually tell you, depending on how many water park visits you're going to make, what the least expensive ticket option is for that. And you can definitely buy them in advance on the Disney World website too. But also check the officialticketcenter.com or mapleleaftickets.com, because they'll sell you those tickets as well in advance, and I think you can probably save a couple bucks on them as well.
We have time for one last email, and the subject of the email is please read before October 2007.
Barely got that one.
Smart man.
Close.
Emails from Alex from Louisiana, who writes, Gentlemen, I plan on taking my wife and 3-year-old daughter to Walt Disney World from October 11th Thursday, to October 16th, Tuesday. I'm mainly interested in attending Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and Food and Wine Festival. There's also the Little One's Travel Time going on at this time. First, the dates that I've seen for the Halloween party have one on Friday, October 12th, and one on Monday, October 15th. Which night would you recommend to attend? I imagine that Fridays are more crowded than Mondays.
That is correct.
That would be
I
smart.
think so too. Yeah.
Sometimes Mondays are, well, I don't know about not so scary, but very merry. Usually the Mondays are cheaper than the Fridays, right? The tickets?
I mean, price is usually a good indication of demand.
Yeah. But Monday's the cheap. Monday's not going to be as crowded as Friday for sure.
Second part of his question: how does Food and Wine Festival affect ADRs at the restaurants and World Showcase in October? I would imagine that traffic increases due to Food and Wine Festival, but since most of the guests are participating in the offerings, that they are not making ADRs for table service meals. Are there less ADRs offerings for the restaurants to lead people to try the festival booths?
I wouldn't expect that at all, especially with the popularity of the dining plan. There's probably way more people who want to eat at certain restaurants than there is capacity. I mean, Le Cellier, no matter what, is going to be booked.
I will say that the weekend that what's the name of that golf tournament that's there in October? There's a golf tournament, a big golf tournament that's there. I think it's the third week in October, and that weekend is usually the busiest weekend. I forget the name of Kung Fu or something. I forget the name of the golf tournament, but it's the big time golf tournament with a lot of people going down there to watch it. So that's the most crowded time. Yeah, the Funai Classic. You're right.
Yeah.
Third question from Alex: Pop Century or Port Orleans Riverside? There's about a $400 difference. We'll be renting a car. We will also use the room in the afternoon for nap time. We previously stayed at the Swan and the Contemporary.
Save the money, Pop Century. I don't think Riverside is that good.
No, I would agree with that.
Not for $400. Okay.
I mean, for $400? No.
Finally, I wanted to thank you for answering my question in a previous podcast, and only about 1 month after I sent it in, I ended up following your recommendation and used Quicksilver for our December 2006 trip and was very satisfied. Keep up the great work. That's it for us today. Again, this episode has been sponsored by MEI and Mousefan Travel, specializing in cruises and packages to Disney and other vacation destinations around the world. For current offers, just visit their website at www.mousefantravel.com. And that's it for us today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions at wdwtoday.com. For Leonard Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hodgeberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Calling your Washington representative has helped. Now call your senators. Urge them to support the Senate version of the Internet Radio Equality Act. Visit SaveNetRadio.org to find both of your senators' phone numbers. Stop the high royalty rates that threaten Internet radio.